So, sir, first things first. First question would be on Nifty, because यहाँ पे what we are seeing is that कि एक जो major high बना है लगभग 25,700 के आसपास जाके Nifty now is coming back, and 25,500 का level भी यहाँ पे नीचे की तरफ यहाँ पे break करता हुआ दिख रहा है Nifty. So, do you think कि now the range is getting widened and 25,000 can be those levels जो कि हम देख सकते हैं?
No, so I'll sort of take over from my earlier discussions on this forum, wherein
Sure,
I
sir.
mentioned that I do look at Nifty at least retesting the highs of last year, which was around 26,200, and I think that
Right.
that track still remains in place.
Right.
Of course, there'll be corrections and profit bookings in between. So what has
जी.
happened here is, if you see Nifty broke out above that consolidation, which it has been going on for almost a month. I
जी.
think the upper end of that resistance of that consolidation was around 25,200. And after breaking it, Nifty almost touched 25,639, if I am getting the levels correct, which
Right.
is actually, if you see there, technically there was a gap left last year in October when we just started the fall between
Right.
around 25,739 and 25,639, right?
Yeah.
So it has shown that correction right from that gap, and I feel that 25,200 remains a strong level, a strong support in the worst case, because one is it was the breakout of that last consolidation. Plus,
Right.
currently daily 20 DMA is also at 25,200. So we have two
Okay.
important support levels coinciding there. So I think that's the worst correction level I'm seeing in this fall, and I think ultimately this recent high of 25,639 should be taken out in around a month at most.
Okay, sir. So at this particular current time frame, let's just say 1 week or 2 week from now, do you think that there will be a lot of consolidation between this range?
So in fact, I am somewhere counting on this fall to get arrested around this level and around this time, maybe matter of couple of more days, and
Right.
probably even show the last fall over 4,
Right.
5, 6 days to be taken out to be retraced in a faster time interval. So I won't be
Right.
surprised. In fact, in next 2 weeks, we might see to this 25,639 actually getting taken out.
All right, sir. So in this now, can we initiate any kind of trade on Nifty?
Yeah, so we can have a trade. So I think we can have option trade here, wherein
Okay.
I'll suggest a beer put spread. So buying 25,200 call of
Okay.
17th July expiry. I
Okay.
think
Just a second.
currently it would be somewhere around 130 or rupees 133, right? Then
Okay.
we can sell 25,400 put at around currently around 216 rupees. Again, same expiry, 17th July,
Okay.
right? And simultaneously, we can take a call of 25,600 strike, which is around
Okay.
125 rupees. So basically, this aligns with the view I have currently sort of mentioned over next 2 weeks, wherein there is a reasonable probability that the fall may be arrested at current levels, and we might see 25,600 getting taken out. So in that case,
Right.
beer put spread protects us from the heavy downside in case of unforeseen scenario beyond, if
Right.
the support of 25,200 gets taken out
Yes, sir.
in the worst case. Uh, uh, Secondly, it reduces the cost of buying the call, because by selling
Yes.
25,400 put, we reduce the cost of call to almost, I think at current
Right.
levels, to around 40 to 50 rupees, right?
Right,
So
sir.
so this is a trade one can take in current bullish scenario over next 2 weeks.
All right, sir. So we have taken all the expiry is 17th of July, and we have
Correct.
taken 25,200 put option we bought at 133. 25,400 put option we sold at 216, and
Hmm.
25,600 call option we bought at 124. Is
Yeah,
that right?
that is
Okay,
correct.
sir. Okay, so the holding period will be till the expiry.
Yeah, so one can keep till expiry, or one can keep a stop loss of, let's say, I mean, depending on individual risk appetite, somewhere around 75 to 100 rupees. and a risk reward ratio of 1:3. So maybe around, let's say, 225 to 300 rupees of target profit
Okay, so
on
this
the entire structure,
75,
of course.
okay, so this 75 will be on the premium, right, sir?
Yeah, so the entire trade, if the loss is 75 rupees into 75, which is the lot size,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So around
So
five
almost
five
around
to 6,000 rupees.
5,625. Yes, sir.
Correct. So that's the loss one can keep, and
Okay.
profit could be around three times of this. I think one can target that much.
Okay, so almost around 225 will be aiming. So that would be
Correct.
16,875. Is that
That is
okay,
correct.
sir?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just keep the expiry date as the target date. If the target comes earlier on or the stop loss come earlier on, we'll book the trade. And in the rational section, what do I put, sir?
Uh, it's a beer put spread
Right,
with call purchase, wherein we
right.
are looking at Nifty to break its intermediate recent top of
Okay,
25639. I think. Just check the level
right.
once in over
Okay,
next 2 weeks.
okay. And I'll add that we are taking a proper this thing that even if there is a breakdown, we'll be saving on to the
Yeah, so downside is limited. So worst case
yeah,
downside is even if you do not, one does not hit the stop loss. So one can see
yeah,
that worst case downside will be around, I think 250 odd rupees, which is
right.
somewhere 16 17,000. Even if, I mean, due to some unforeseen news flow or very bad news flow,
Uh,
Nifty breaks down completely.
all right, sir. So limiting a risk for downside. Okay, sir. Perfect. So I'll just save this trade and we'll move on forward. So, sir, if we talk about a sector which is performing well in this scenario, so which sector would that be in your this thing?
So I'll again back, I mean, PSU Bank, which I have mentioned before as well. In fact, if you see
Okay,
last 8 to 10 days, some of the stocks have shown very good rally. In fact,
right,
last I appeared at with you guys, PNB, for example, was around 101 rupees, right? 102 rupees.
right. Yes, sir.
It saw a level of 114 rupees, which is, I mean, good 11 to 12% gain in almost 2 weeks.
Right,
So we remain bullish on that. In fact, also last 3 to 6 months, if you see the sectors which have shown relative strength vis-a-vis
right.
Nifty, have been Nifty Bank, and I think to some extent Nifty Metal, and PSU Bank. So
Hmm.
PSU Bank is one sector we are actually closely tracking and remain bullish on.
Okay, sir. So, are there any specific stocks which you are seeing from the PSU?
Yeah, so one can keep track of course, it's not a specific recommendation, but one can keep track of PNB, Canara Bank, and even Bank of Baroda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Indian Bank was looking good, sir. Today I was seeing it was at the breakout
Yeah, of
point here.
course. So since entire sector is bullish, so actually, I mean, one can see for any technical breakouts
Right,
in any of the banks and picking momentum, and I think
right.
those are easily tradable in current scenario.
Okay, sir. And how about private banks, sir? Do you think private banks can pick up the pace again?
So Nifty Bank has somewhere sustained, I think, its lead, which it took even when we saw bottom in around March April, and I think it
Right,
continues to maintain that. And I feel while of course the pace of rise could slightly be lower, giving way to some of the other sectors, because there is always the
right,
sector rotation when it's not a roaring bull market as of now.
right,
But yes, it's I mean, some of the good banks like Kotak and ICICI, they continue to show good resilience. Even HDFC, they continue to
right.
show good resilience and can be considered. Yes.
Okay, sir. Perfect. So let's just say that, sir, in this current scenario, if you want to initiate a trade in any stock, is there any stock which you are having?
No, so I don't have a specific stock recommendation right now, but yes, from sector perspective, one can, I think, if I have to prefer one sector, as I mentioned, PSU banks, and I mean, some of the names which I mentioned can certainly be tracked.
Okay, sir. And let's just say, sir, that now, as we are at the top level. Sometimes what happens at the top level is that, as you said, the sector rotation is there. So the sectors which were performing earlier on are not performing. Like if we talk about realty sector, to be specific. So are there any sectors which you are seeing which can act as underperformers, or we can trade on the short side for a short term?
Uh, no, so I won't recommend shorting any sector, frankly, in the, I mean, current overall market scenario.
Okay.
I think it's a market where, of course, you can put your money to good use in some of the sectors which are gaining momentum before some others. But
Right.
ultimately, I think if somewhere we have a view that overall market and index remains bullish, so it's a matter of time when a lot of sectors who are even lagging behind currently
Right.
might just catch up, right? So,
Yes.
so, so we can continue to track relative strength. Yes, reality
Yes.
and probably infra have so far not shown that kind of a lead. But if you see that the undertone of the market is that a lot of stocks across sectors are
Right.
showing breakouts, right? While some are
Yes.
consolidating, some are continuously showing breakouts. Uh,
Right.
so I think that can be one of the criteria across sectors to track the stocks which are giving breakouts of, let's say, 52-week highs, or
Yes.
even all-time highs. And I think going with that momentum may not be a bad strategy right now.
All right, sir. Perfect. So let's just say that buy on dips would be a suggestion at this scenario, right?
Yeah, currently, yes. Stock specific, of course, any stock for investment or anything, if somebody wants to consider, buy on dips is the right strategy. And even on
Okay.
index, I think it will continue to show resilience on the downside. Yeah.
Okay, sir. That's great. That's great. So, other than this, sir, other than banks, we are having NBFC space, which we saw good momentum and traction in the month of
Yes.
June. So, do you think that July can also be the month where we see
Yes.
continued?
So in fact, bank and financial services both remain good bet. In
Yeah,
fact, one wants to even if consider for cash positions either for short term and or long term. Some of the relatively NBFC names are showing good upside
right. Yes.
as on this stage. So
So, I think because of the rate cuts, do you think this we had seen this?
yeah, rate cuts have been supportive. Plus, you see, even the overall underlying capex cycle when it comes to large corporates or even SME
Right.
companies, their results have come, and a lot of them had, on an average, have shown good growth and good resilience despite
Right.
the tough times we had over last year, right? So,
Yeah.
so if assuming that we have bottomed out in terms of not only market but somewhere even the economy, and rate cycle is
Yes.
also supportive, so we can only see that lending by to across sectors and specifically SMEs, which are driving a lot of growth, to only pick up, and that should support some of these NBFCs. I mean, SME specific NBFCs or retail specific NBFCs, and they
Right.
are showing that initial signs of good move coming ahead.
Okay, sir. So, sir, what I have seen that, whenever there's a rate cut or, news like that, we see there's a boost in the consumption. So we had seen a good rally in the auto sector, but other than that, like FMCG or capital goods, we haven't seen any kind of a big move as of yet. So do you think are those sectors which are getting ready at this time?
Yeah, so FMCG I think has been a laggard over last few years. I mean, some of the big names, if you see
Right.
HUL and all that, they haven't given much performance. Of course, ITC has
Yes.
done reasonably well, but that has come along with some of the news flow in terms of demerger, and I think
Right.
evaluation wise it was quite suppressed. But I think consumption. See, what is the case is somewhere the consumption patterns and it's not only about the rate cycle. Of course, disposable incomes are getting increased.
Right.
The ease of having finance is increased,
Right.
but the flow of a lot of that money may not necessarily be going to additionally to FMCG goods. Uh, uh, so and plus, I think with increase in competition, it's very difficult to pinpoint that why some of the sectors in some of the stocks in consumption are not doing well. So it remains stock specific, and I think a call on that sector. But
All right.
but
Okay,
overall
sir.
sector
So
view, yeah,
yes, sir.
it's not too bullish as of now.
Okay, sir. So again, sir, first of all, thank you so much for it was sounding like an integration, but it is just pure questions. So now that we have discussed a lot about the sectors here, sir, if we if I just ask you an overview in the coming few months for the market, like now the result season is coming, so we'll be having ups and downs in the market. So let's just say that keep post this quarter and let's just say 2 3 months, where do you see this current Indian market going?
Uh, okay. So see, immediately we are looking at somewhere, the last year highs to be retested.
Right,
But at some point, of course, it remains a matter of review when we reach there. Uh, uh,
right,
Nifty will show a decent correction because while stocks are breaking out, there is again a lot of sort of bullishness coming across uh,
right.
the retail guys. So I think a bit of correction might come up, but yes, overall, if we see those March and April lows and the entire rise since then, a lot of
Yes,
very bad news has been absorbed at these levels, right? So,
yes,
I mean, the worst of news, including physical wars, tariff wars,
right.
uh, uh, even rate cuts have not happened yet in
Yes,
US, so I do not see that kind of fall or those kind of levels again before
yes,
we have a decent bull market. And
yes.
even technically, if you see somewhere this entire fall from last year September to March, which I mentioned before as well,
Right.
is very similar to what we had in October 21 to June 22 correction in terms of time as well as price.
Okay.
It was almost 17 to 18% fall uh,
Right.
in what, 6 to 8 months, correct? This fall is
Right.
almost similar if you see till March bottom, and somewhere we
Yes.
feel that there's another cycle of bullishness which might continue over 1 to 2 years. But yes, we have to
Right.
be, I mean, selective about stocks. One, second, there'll be corrections in between, so we have to be, I mean, ready and not assume that market will be a one-way street. It never is.
All right, sir. Perfect. So again, sir, thank you so much for joining first of all today and for such a great discussion. So I would like to ask one last thing, sir, that you want to keep your trades limited to Nifty only today?
Yes, currently I have a trade on Nifty only.
Okay, sir. Perfect. So, just before we move on to the next show, sir, I would like to ask a disclaimer regarding the discussion we made today.
Yeah, so as we have discussed, the trade recommendation is on Nifty index. The other stocks which I have mentioned, of course, investors can they do their due diligence individually,
Right.
and there is no trade recommendation of buy or sell on that. We do not
Okay.
have a position in any of the stocks mentioned.
Okay, sir. So, thank you so much, sir, for joining today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much.